How's it going, everyone? It's your favorite apostates. I'm McKay.
I'm Jordan.
And welcome to a new year. And we're going to be doing the same old. It's the same old song and dance over.
With some exciting things happening this year.
Some exciting things, you say?
Yes. I can't talk about them because I'm bound by a contract. But there are some exciting things.
Here's an exciting thing that we can talk about right now. It is... the 2024 Grammy Awards. That was a big pause.
The first annual.
The first annual 2024 Grammy Awards. My animation stopped, but the music's
cute.
Rocking, right?
It's cute.
Jordan set this one up for me, but
He did the presentation.
I actually did the presentation this time.
It wasn't me.
I set everything up. I set everything up in the presentation. Jordan did all the footwork of gathering everybody's answers. So if you were watching, I mean, we put a blast on everything. We did it on Instagram. We did it here on YouTube.
Patreon.
We did it on Patreon. So everybody should have been in the know that we polled everyone on their answers, and everything that you see here tonight is uninfected by our touch, except for, I guess, technically. There was a write-in option on every single one of them.
It's true.
So.
It's true.
But everybody had the option of what they wanted to see. And, I mean, the categories are kind of what you guys wanted to see anyway, because usually what we're making is stuff that everybody wants to see. So
We wanted to end the year on
or start the year, rather.
Really, we wanted to end the year, but then our son was sick the entire month of December, so that didn't happen. And so
it was miserable.
It was bad. And so we are obviously delayed in doing this in 2025, but we thought it would be nice to just briefly look back on the events of 2024, the things that stand out, the things that you guys remember, and we wanted, as usual, your input. So these are all your votes.
So we're going to push the funerary barge off into the water and send a ceremonial flaming arrow onto the pile of garbage that was 2024 so we can start this year right. But before that, a word from our sponsor, and today's sponsor is the amazing Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve are the leading adult toy store in the USA with over 50 years of experience in the business, and they take privacy and pleasure very seriously.
So we have paired up with Adam and Eve to give you a special offer, which is 4 toys for just $20, which is a mega good deal. All you have to do is go to adamandeve.com/Jordan. That's me, Jordan.
They made it so much easier.
And so all you have to do is go there. 4 toys for $20 while supplies last. Discreet shipping. You don't have to worry about things showing up in boxes that are giving away the things that you ordered. They value your privacy, and you have plenty of options to choose from. So adamandeve.com/Jordan.
Again, thank you to Adam and Eve. They were the first people who ever took a chance on sponsoring us, and they keep coming back. So please show them some love. We love them. They love us, as it would seem. So go check it out. Thank you. Okay, now we can proceed with our first category and their nominations. So how we're gonna play it? We're gonna introduce the category. Jordan and I are gonna give our picks. We'll introduce the nominees, nominated by us, but voted on by you.
Some input from Instagram for some categories and people.
And then we will announce our winner, and we'll show the results of what everybody was voting for. So let's get to it. All right, our first category, most likely to leave the church. Obviously, this one is...
There's some that come to mind.
Yes. We talk about a lot of people on this channel, and the thing that always comes up is usually, are they really going to stick with this, or is distancing their brand from the church also their distancing from the church?
Yes.
Who was the first one that came to mind for you?
Well, I need to pick a new one because my first one that I picked a while ago, which was Amber Phillip Clark, left the church. So I need to pick a new one because she's out living her best life. We love that for her. And so my initial, with the people that we've talked about this year, we've tried to keep it to like 2024 specifically as much as possible. But the person that comes to mind, if she hasn't already, is Bailey from Brooklyn and Bailey.
Nice. That one totally, I mean, we just barely talked about it, so
Yep.
that one makes sense. The first one I was thinking, and I don't mean any disrespect to this with this.
We could be
particular
totally
one.
wrong.
Yes, and it's not like we're like, yes, they're, because leaving the church is fucking
It's a
awful,
very
right?
hard thing. But it's just the vibes.
It's just the vibes.
The vibes you get.
Like when your paradigm shifts and you're still attending the church, usually it's a matter of time that you're like, I can't do this anymore because the church is incompatible with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, my pick was Taylor Frankie.
Yes. I could see that.
So
She's hanging on, though.
she's hanging on.
She's hanging on. Like,
and there's a lot to hang on to, right?
the narrative is strong, I fear.
Yeah. But Utah is really showing up and showing out for hating on all of those ladies from the show.
It's true.
Anyway, let's get to the nominees. First up, we have Brooklyn and Bailey.
More so Bailey. I put both of them because I couldn't remember which one was which at the time. I'm sorry. Brooklyn posted something about the temple like 2 days ago. So
Whoops.
Bailey is what I'm talking about.
There we go. Nara Smith, who we've discussed a little bit.
Controversial figure.
Yes,
For a lot of
controversial.
people.
Taylor Frankie, there's my pick. Jen Affleck. That would be my number 2, honestly. And Brittany Bateman.
Brittany Bateman from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I could see that.
She is a newcomer to the show.
She does about everything but follow the rules.
Yes. But she is an old head as far as this show is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
because if you'll remember, if the patrons and the members will remember, we watched the RM and she is the female lead in the RM.
And
So-
now she's on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City drinking alcohol.
Drinking
Oh my God.
wine.
And dating Jared Osmond. Oh my God.
Guys, this season is great. I have
Full
to
circle.
say. If you're not watching, you should.
It's incredible.
I endorse it. And the winner
By your vote,
most likely to leave the church is
Taylor Frankie.
Frankie.
That doesn't come as much of a surprise to me here. I feel like she's hanging on, but it just feels, I think, incompatible for the majority of people, it
Yeah.
seems.
especially with the ladies on that show, because I mean, it's the same. We'll talk about some of the other Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but the only one who really still claims to be Mormon, albeit Mormon 2.0, really
Lisa.
is just hanging on by a thread. That's why she calls it
Lisa
Mormon 2.0.
Barlow.
But anyway, we have a great follow-up or a great runner-up, Brooklyn and Bailey.
So Bailey, that would
Bailey,
make
but-
sense with 35% of the vote, and
Yeah.
Bailey had some write-ins specifically also.
Yep.
And then it looks like Jen Affleck was the one who came in third, which I can see Jen leaving her husband. I don't see Jen leaving the church. That's just
Yeah,
my thought.
I don't think we're quite there yet. Both would be great. Both would be great.
Why not? The worst family vlogger. Now this is a hard one because they're all fucking horrible. So I
This
don't even
year
know where
was
to begin on
extremely
this.
easy, though.
This year,
It
here's
was a
what
little
I'll
bit
say.
stacked.
There was some wild shit that happened, like wrapping up 2023. Well, starting in 2023, wrapping up in 2024. So there are some people who are going to take the cake on this, but they will not be in it the next year. So we will
Yes.
have some more variety.
Clean, hopefully.
But they
Clean
hopefully,
slate.
but they
next year.
deserve to get their shame, I will say.
All right, let's go. We're gonna skip our opinions because they're
obvious if you've
They're
been here
obvious,
before.
yeah.
Tiffany of Not Enough Nelson.
who says they're not family vlogging anymore.
But
That is to be seen.
that is a lie, said Maury.
Nurse
Nurse
Hannah,
Hannah.
you'll remember from, I think that was the last video that we did. At
Oh, the
beginning of last month.
controversy.
Yep. Oh, the controversy.
Just got
Indeed.
so messy.
Cass Nelson, who's Tiffany's daughter.
She's had her own baby now. She's doing her own family vlogging.
Yeah. This is from her YouTube channel. Look at those blue soulless eyes
I
that
cannot
nobody's
stand
believing
that
for a
she
fucking
edits
second.
herself like this.
That is just, yeah. Anyway.
The
Oh,
Griffiths.
Griffiths.
It's the 8 passengers multiverse here. We've got Bonnie and Ellie and Jared specifically.
All right. And the winner, worst family vlogger, is wait. Oh no, I got the wrong one. Fuck, hold on. And the winner of worst family vlogger is Nurse Hannah by a long shot. Yes. Big not a fan of her. She actually kind of made a comeback a couple days. She posted for the first time in a month, and comments are still disabled. So we might need to make an update if she just tries to push through the controversy, because that's insane.
Just take
the L and
change
your behavior.
Recognize what the internet has done. And while there are a lot of things that the internet does forget, a lot of people that I think don't deserve platforms and shit that have done sketchy shit, like when it comes to like potentially allegedly abusing children, from my opinion, protecting myself, that is like something that I don't think should be forgiven, generally speaking. No. So get off the internet.
But this is gonna test my my theory, which is if you just push through, there's no such thing as cancel culture, because she was getting likes.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what happens.
There's a bunch of people out there like that. I will say this is the one that I feel like we got the most write-in comments. And I tried to keep it to people that we've like talked about specifically
this year.
But there's a lot of family vloggers out there that you guys are aware of that are Mormon that we haven't talked about. Like Yahweh family was
Yahweh vlogs
mentioned a lot. Crazy Middles, Crazy Pieces, like Ohana Adventure. Like there's a lot of family vloggers that we just haven't covered that probably all deserve this award for their own little reasons. But in terms of the things that we saw in 2024 and who we covered, I think it seems Hannah takes the cake for some of this insanity.
All right, on to the next one. We have most controversial.
Most controversial. I feel like this is our entire channel. This is everybody that we talk about.
Everybody that we talk about is controversial. But I feel like, in my opinion, by a long shot, most controversial. Not for, like, specific wrongdoings, but just for being a big part of really damaging discourse on the internet. It's got to be Hannah Nealman, Ballerina Farm.
Hannah Nealman takes the cake for me. Her trad wife shit. I mean, even after, like, there was an article that came out that she did not too long ago. I can't remember what publication it was, but she was talking about, like, taking pride in the whole trad wife thing and taking pride in encouraging women not to be on birth control. And
so funny that she's flip-flopped, because in the summer she was like, I'm not a trad wife.
That's a whole thing.
We didn't forget.
There was Evie magazine and the big jugs dress, like that. That thing is its own whole, and then she removed herself from it because it was too booby. Like, this is like very niche Ballerina Farm content, I feel like. But if you know what I'm talking about, it was wild. It was wild. It probably deserves its own video at some point.
But I feel like most controversial fits her the most.
I feel like Hannah's most controversial, like, for sure.
The comments that we get nowadays, when we get comments on that video, are almost entirely in favor. They're like, really? I don't see what's wrong with Ballerina Farm. I like her. And it's like, you guys aren't getting what we're fucking saying.
No, you don't want to. And that's fine. She can just be your person that you choose to ignore the discourse around him. That's what you want to do. Yeah. That's fine. But she was by far, when we were talking about video topics, I knew that we would eventually do a video about Hannah, but she was always the one that I was like probably the most fearful of doing because of the public response that we were going to get. And it was like, I feel like it is, of all our videos, I feel like we get the most hate comments on that video in particular.
Yeah. We do a lot of hating, and I understand that it's grating.
I really don't read comments,
maybe people don't want to hear the message that we're also trying to push, but, you know, I understand it, but it is annoying.
So who's our options?
Obviously, number one, that's why she's at the top. Hannah Nealman, Ballerina Farm. Taylor Frankie, which, I mean, for us, not that big
I don't care,
but for a lot of other people,
controversial for Mormons, especially.
Michaela Skinner, everybody's favorite gymnast.
She is controversial.
Just kidding.
Lisa Barlow. You hate Lisa.
We need to make a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City tier list, because I got some I got some beef with Lisa Barlow, and it is entirely one-sided.
I
but
kind of like Lisa. I do.
honestly, there are
Heather's
so
still tippity
few...
top for me, but I do like Lisa.
Lisa is, for me, now what Mary was in season 1.
Mary has evolved.
Mary has evolved,
interestingly.
and I love... Mary always has a fucking witty one-liner that's amazing.
It's just like her eye thing that she does
I
for
know.
me.
Oh my god.
Little girl. I just can't with Mary.
The eye thing. Anyway.
Okay, our winner for most controversial. We've got Hannah
Ballerina Farms.
Nurse Hannah.
By a long shot.
Nurse Hannah got a lot of entries in here, which I totally understand. I was
Yeah.
trying not to flood too many categories with the same people
Yeah.
to give some diversity. But Michaela, I mean, Ballerina Farm took 53.7%,
Yeah.
which over 1,000 of you, for the most part, voted. And so that's a lot of people who think that Hannah's the most controversial, with Michaela falling closely behind, which is fair because
Yeah.
Michaela did a lot of stupid things this year.
So there you have it.
With Taylor being in third, that also makes sense.
The people have spoken. Also, I just want to take a moment here. We had nearly 1,000 responses, which
That
for
was way
something
more
where
than I
you
was
have to go
expecting.
to an external site and you have to put in your answers is a lot more than I would have expected. So
We love
bless
y'all
all
for
of
that.
you. I'm so happy with the turnout.
Okay, next category. Most redeemable. So I had some DM questions about this. This is like they've got the most, like, you almost don't want them to be Mormon, right? It's almost like you're on the fringe, or like you're too good of a person, or you like the gays. Why
Yeah.
are you still Mormon? Like, the most redeemable category can kind of mean different things to different people, but that's kind of what I was aiming for.
For sure. My pick was Dan McClellan from TikTok, Instagram. He is a scholar of the Bible. He speaks multiple languages.
We love Dan.
He is a Mormon, and he is easily the most trustworthy Mormon
And educated.
to come to questions of the Bible on, and objective. This man is he's great, and he will not let his Mormonism get in the way of portraying the truth. And I think that's super admirable.
We love that. My pick, he's in these categories because I made this list, so I put him in here. But my pick, and he honestly, I think the more that I think about it, this man kind of deserves his own video, because I think there's a lot of nuance to him that the average person who might not be a reader isn't aware of. But my pick for most redeemable Mormon was Brandon Sanderson. I'm in the middle of the Stormlight Archive right now. 2025 is my Cosmere year.
The Cosmere year. Nice.
I'm 4 books in. I'm in Way of Kings right now. But the efforts that he has made to clarify his position on church things, he actively donates money to LGBTQ plus organizations. He uses sensitivity readers. He includes diverse characters in his books. He talks about wanting to be the person that changes the church from the inside. Like, you know, it's not the way that I would approach it, obviously, because I've left and I have a lot of criticism for people who take that position, but I can respect that in some ways. And so for me, I feel like he's one of the most redeemable Mormons.
That's fair. I also want to make note, just like a little anecdote, probably one of the most hardcore, no nuance Mormons that I grew up around is like probably Brandon Sanderson fan number 1, honestly.
I don't know. There's some diehards out there.
I know there's diehards, but as far as anybody who I know likes Brandon Sanderson, it's him. And it sounds like he probably has a lot of fucking mental gymnastics being able to read the material and have it not conflict with his core beliefs. Anyway, that was just a little anecdote. Let's get it on
Nominees
to the nominees. We have
Remington
Butler, who will be making a return on. We're going to be
Apparently.
streaming reactions to Provo's Most Eligible supposedly this spring. So
New season this spring. Allegedly, he has posted on socials. It's coming back. David Archuleta was in the comments. Maybe we're in for a really big turn this season. I don't know. I'm
it
stoked.
would be so awesome.
And I know you guys are like Remy #1 fans.
I'm rabid for Remy.
And so I had to put him in here, no questions asked.
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandy Sandy.
Taylor Frankie.
Taylor's in a lot of
We
categories.
get a lot of categories for Taylor.
Lisa.
Christine. From Sister Wives.
Got it.
Formerly Christine Brown.
Love that tattoo.
And Janelle. I don't know if she's using a different name or if she's still going by Brown.
I think she still goes by Brown.
To announce our winner for the most redeemable award, we have. Oh, it was so close. Sorry, my brain is
buffering.
Taylor Frankie. And it was close for a lot of these. It was close. 27.2% for Taylor, and then the next one comes in, Christine from Sister Wives at 20.6%. And then following very closely behind Christine is Brandon Sanderson at 18%. No,
that's Janelle.
No, Janelle, and then Brandon Sanderson within a 1%.
That's crazy.
So there are a lot of redeemable people, and it should go without saying that we don't hate Mormons. We hate Mormonism.
It's the institution.
And, obviously we criticize the people who participate in those institutions. And obviously Janelle and Christine are not even Brighamite Mormons, but
they're still in that category.
They still fall into the category. They do some Mormonish
and
stuff.
Bless the person, whoever it was, who in their open written response for this part, how dare you make me pick between Christine and Janelle? And I feel that because I don't think I could
thought
pick
it was
between
Jen
them either.
from Fundy Fridays.
I love the two of them, but obviously this goes to show things are very nuanced, right? Even there was Hannah Ballerina Farm entries on here. There are some people who think that there are very redeemable Mormons. There are normal Mormons. There are nice Mormons. Our family are Mormon. That's the emphasis that we try to give when we do these things.
Religious zealots and bigots, and it runs the gamut. But
Remy with 12.9% of the vote, though, I will say that is a bit of you who are Remy stans.
And to be honest, Remy is not really giving off the Mormon vibe like he used to, in my opinion.
And Colin is single.
His Instagram and shit.
FYI.
So, anyway, give it up for Taylor. Another award to take home. Although we don't have any awards.
You don't get anything for this award. You just get to
bragging rights
that you don't care about because you don't even know who we are.
A mid-sized YouTube channel shouted you out in their awards show. And the people picked you. So
I think she is
shout
very
out to
redeemable.
The people. All right, our next category, worst Mormon influencer of the year.
Arguably the biggest title.
This is the biggest one to take home. The big Garmy,
if you will. I kept it down to two people. When we're talking worst Mormon influence of the year.
Three people, technically.
I kept it to, we're talking worst of the worst, okay? And it used to be just who's a piece of shit in exploiting their children unnecessarily, recording their ER trips and ripping their doll heads off in front of them and those kinds of things. I'm that's pretty bad. But then Ruby and Jody had to go and break the fucking scale so that we have worst.
We have to include
prison,
convicted of crimes or alleged crimes,
felony prison. That's where the scale extends to now. Unfortunately,
we're resetting the scale next year.
Next year, they're out of this, but they were, even though everything kind of snowballed in 2023, the sentencing and everything took place in 2024. So I wanted to make sure that they got their due in terms of whether or not people think they were the worst, and then obviously coming in with additional child abuse is going to be Nurse Hannah. So that's who I kind of narrowed it down to.
We have Roby,
Joby,
Jody,
Roby,
and
Joby,
Ruby, and Nurse Hannah. So we put it up to a vote for everybody. Obviously, you can probably conclude very easily the winner of the worst Mormon influencer of the year goes to, by a fucking landslide, Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrand. Woo!
Yay, Ruby and Jody for being horrible human beings.
I don't know if they can accept any sort of awards from us in prison, but
They actually know who we are. But
yes,
you know,
that is kind of the unique thing about all these people. Is
Ruby
they
and Jody.
actually know who we are.
yeah. So Nurse Hannah obviously came in second, but 92.4% of the vote was Ruby and Jody.
There's not next year for Ruby and Jody, but
It's
there's
true.
always next year, Hannah. There's always next year.
Who knows what's going to come up? But we had some people reply, like some people suggesting both, which is obviously fair. We have some Cody Brown, and then somebody threw Jordan Page in there. Which some people passionately do not like Jordan Page, and I can stand for that.
We can understand.
I can get that. I don't think
There's
she's
only-
up there with Ruby and Jody, but
Right. There's only room for one Jordan in this house.
it's true. Get the hell out, Paige.
Get out. On to our next category.
Worst Mormon influencer husband. This one was one I had a lot of fun with.
This one's for the guys.
Okay.
We had...
Full caveat. I was going through. There's a lot of them. Okay. Like, a lot of times the women show up and show out here, but sometimes the men are just
in the
obnoxious. And so, which tracks, I feel like. But anyway, so of all of them, there's so many of them that I forgot to put Zach Affleck, Jen Affleck's husband from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, in here. And he got properly represented, but I forgot to put him in there. So just know there's so many of them.
Right.
And I do not like him. So I forgot about his existence. But there are plenty of other
We're trying
options.
to forget about him. But he was my pick.
Yes.
For sure.
Zach is up there.
Yeah.
They're all so bad. I don't know that I can even pick one. I feel like Daniel, Hannah's husband, just gets on my nerves.
Dim Dan.
Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to decide with these men. Kevin, Frankie, like, how do you even pick?
You do what you can. Let's go on to the nominees. Daniel Nealman.
Daniel, of course.
I just want to make a point here. I remember I said that Daniel is nothing without Hannah when it comes to their brand. And just to prove the point, I went to find a picture of Daniel by himself on Google Images is a hard feat. Like a current picture of Daniel by himself is like, you have to scroll.
It's all Hannah.
It's all Hannah. So anyway, just think of that.
Cody!
Brown. Cody Brown Town. My favorite.
Ramen Noodle Head.
Ramen Noodle Head.
Of course he had to go in this category.
Bubba
Page.
Page.
Boo Boo.
Shout out. Kevin Frankie.
What is this photo? This
Dude,
is
I had
so
to use
serious.
this one because it was like...
This is like morose, Mr. Worldwide. What is happening
I can't
here?
even make that Mr. Worldwide.
He
it
looks
just
so
doesn't fit.
serious.
Lucky Blue Smith.
Lucky Blue Smith.
I told Jordan specifically
Nara
to
Smith's
include
husband.
his middle name because Lucky Blue just... Anyway, the winner of Worst Influencer Husband of the Year is Daniel, but by
Slim margin.
just a slim margin. This would be runoff
This was
territory.
fascinating to me.
And then Cody Brown, and then Kevin Frankie. But, you know, look at all these down at the bottom. All these Zach Affleck. 3 pages. There are several, a whole bunch
Zach
of
would be properly
doubled up.
represented in here if I had done it right. So that is my fault. I am sorry. The results do surprise me a little bit. I think I put Kevin in here, but honestly, I feel like Kevin kind of belongs in his own category, kind of like Ruby does. Like, I feel like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's redeemable or not. None of us really know the truth of things.
I don't like
think
him,
he
period.
has a lot of culpability in the things that were done. And as a person who was abused by parents, I don't have a lot of patience for that. So I think he's kind of in his own category. But Cody being up there really high does not surprise me. Maybe this will be like a knife in the kidney, his other kidney, his other organ, maybe a
Wasted.
lung, maybe, that doesn't surprise me as much. I guess people are really annoyed by Daniel, which gives me validation because he annoys the shit out of me too. But Zach is properly represented in there. I don't really have a problem with Boo Boo, honestly.
I don't really
Bubba
either.
Page. I don't really have an issue with him. I think he is like Mormon missionary energy, which I just don't generally vibe with at this point in my life anymore. But
Yeah.
he and Jordan are divorced now, so I wish him the best in his journey, but he's that little orange spot there. So he is represented, but not very much.
Shout out to our winners.
Worst Mormon influencer husband. Daniel, you're welcome.
Yep. Keep an eye on your email. We won't be sending anything, but
Nope.
just keep an eye on it. Our next category, we have Best Mormon Glaze. And we've got some great candidates, some great nominees for this one. My pick, because I feel like she's the embodiment of Relief Society president, is Tiffany Nelson. That was my pick for Best Mormon Glaze. She was the first person that came to mind.
Yeah, I think Tiffany is very up there. I think Hannah is up there in a rich Mormon way. I think Tiffany is up there in a Relief Society president, primary voice. I think Jordan Page has got it in a few ways. The typical Mormon cosmetic surgery.
Jordan gives like young women's president.
Yes. So
for me,
here are your nominees.
Jordan Page, right after
Throwing money around, fun, cheap, or free.
Fun, cheap, or free.
Divorce is none of those.
Tiffany Nelson.
Tiffany
my
with
pick.
the hat.
Always
Hannah,
the hat.
of course.
With her chicken.
Mindy
McKnight, a dark horse.
Mindy does give vibes. I feel like she would be in the Relief Society presidency. Honestly,
yeah, that's fair. Michaela Skinner.
She is Mormon glazy.
Right. Anyway,
Y'all
the
voted.
winner, Best Mormon Glaze, is by not really that much either, but Hannah Nealman.
38%. Hannah doesn't surprise me. I feel like Hannah is rich Mormon. Like in my ward, you aren't going to see a lot of Hannahs. Like when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of Hannahs around. I feel like you're more likely to see a Tiffany than a Hannah, even though Tiffany is also loaded. Hannah has, I feel like, an air of Mormon or an air of like privilege that not a lot of Mormon has. Like it's a lot of Mormons are wealthy. A lot of Mormons are rich. Like people always ask us that. But Hannah's like 1% Mormon, in my opinion. Where Tiffany is like, this is not based on their actual wealth status, but like Hannah is billionaire with a B to me, which probably isn't far off. Mm-hmm. And Tiffany is like millionaire. Like there is a difference between the two of them and how they present in terms of
a different level.
The glaze.
I also want to point this out. I think it's funny. Turtle Creek
Farm. Oh my God. That's
Turtle
the
Creek
epitome.
Lane.
That is best boomer
that is
Mormon
so much funny.
glaze, I would say.
We should have put her on there too, because
she is.
But we haven't been keeping tabs on her. It was just the one and done. Like, this is how you decorate for Christmas.
She's wild. I'm sure she's terrible. But
damn, y'all live like this?
Yeah, I'm sure she's conservative. I would imagine, and they live in Texas, and I'm pretty sure people have sent me stuff about her that's very unsavory. But this makes sense to me. I mean, I didn't necessarily think Hannah would take it, but Hannah and Tiffany being close together and Mindy being third or fourth, it looks like, with Michaela being third. Michaela is the like Gen Z Mormon representative.
Yeah. Young
in
millennial,
my opinion.
zillennial.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I guess that's another prize that Michaela can't win.
Nope.
There's a technicality.
No medal for you, Michaela. Sorry.
Striking out 2 in a row.
Not
which
even
is the
best
only
Mormon
2
glaze.
nominations that she got.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. All right. Our next one. Most likely to divorce or break up.
There's quite a few of these, honestly. Most likely to divorce or break up. I would probably say Jen and Zach Affleck come to mind first and foremost, based on the information that we have from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I see that being a strong possibility.
That's the one that I'm hoping for, because the way that I'm seeing how those two
disrespectful.
were interacting, like obviously it's TV, but
Unhealthy.
I wouldn't even want to be portrayed like that on TV, even if it's not true.
No.
That would be pretty bad. Anyway, our nominees. Jen and Zach Affleck. Whitney and Connor Levitt, another couple from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I would maybe put them up there.
I don't know. They're at the temple in this photo.
They are.
So shout
Recognize the
out
door.
to the temple.
Hannah and Daniel.
This one is highly unlikely in my opinion. But
Yeah.
it had to be there. Brittany Bateman and Jared Osmond. Actually, I'm changing my answer.
I could maybe even put Brittany and Jared above Jen and Zach for sure.
This is one that you have to be. This is Jared. Those Osmonds. If you're wondering who these are, those Osmonds. That's what you're thinking of.
Cody and Sabin. You put Sabin. I didn't even tell you to do that.
I am
learned
on these things.
This I would be very surprised by. I feel like Sabin's in it for the long haul. She got what she wanted.
Yeah.
But now he's a raging dickhead.
Who knows?
So.
Yeah. Cody is so annoying and like red-pilled and...
Yeah.
Robin, you should just leave, honestly.
He's so angry.
Don't. Anyway.
Winner!
The winner of most likely to break up / divorce is by a landslide Jen and
Zach. Woo! This is 48%. This is not even like a debatable thing here.
Crazy.
Not even a debatable thing.
And then we got, in second place, we've got Cody and Sabin.
Which is interesting to me. That's more than I would have expected.
And then Whitney and Connor in third place. We did have some interesting write-ins. Aspen Ovard and Parker Ferris.
I don't know much about their drama. I have heard a little bit about them.
And then Michaela and her husband. Honestly, I think that would be for the better as well.
That could be. Brittany and Jared coming in at 8% is also strong. But if you're not a Real Housewives watcher, if you all were Real Housewives watcher, they would be 48% in place of Jen and Zach. So,
but we're not doing too much with that on this channel at this time.
But it looks like people are fairly confident that Jen and Zach are not.
Yeah,
not
they
in
should
it for the long haul here.
Yeah, the whole gambling incident just
appalled me.
Leave your husband. Leave your husband.
And I would have put Taylor and Dakota in here, but they break up like every 5 minutes. So by the time that I would have put that in here, they would have been broken up again or back together or like they're not together now. I don't know. So I didn't bother putting them in here.
Yep. Anyway.
No shade.
Next category. Most shocking Mormon influencer moment of 2024.
Like I said, unfortunately, Ruby and Jody have come in here and tipped the spectrum in a way that nobody was anticipating, or at least didn't want to anticipate. And so obviously for a lot of people, their sentencing this year, the statements that they made, those kinds of things were probably the most shocking, in my opinion, of the things that we experienced this year.
Yeah. But we will introduce our nominees nonetheless, just to be fair.
Look at their
Jody and Ruby go to prison.
It's like a Friends episode.
I know,
the
right?
one where they go to prison.
The one where they go to prison. I think we've made that joke before. Jordan and Bubba break up.
They divorce. And that divorce is finalized, allegedly.
Crazy. And then we got Michaela Skinner's Olympic nonsense.
I have to say, I wasn't expecting that
one. That was completely unexpected and completely ridiculous. And
I mean, I know she had shit before, but I wasn't expecting her to come out now.
I know. Like, just let it go at this point. God. And then we've got Nurse Hannah.
The Nurse Hannah situation was shocking.
There. Cody's monogamous again. Poor Cody. When will he ever have it all like he used to?
Let's hope that one day he'll just be alone again. And
I know. At this point, that's what he deserves.
Be so red-pilled that he'll never try again. Like that. I think that would be for the betterment of humanity.
Right. And the winner, to no one's surprise, at a whopping 53.9%, Ruby and Jody get sentenced to prison time.
Joby Jail Edition. With, it looks like we had two tied, 13.2. What do we got? Nurse Hannah and Cody loses almost all his wives. Yeah, okay. Those were, I guess, not shocking to me if you watch Sister Wives. It was shocking in the sense that I wondered if they would ever leave. Not shocking to me in that Cody's behavior made them want to leave.
Right. We had some interesting write-ins. Aspen seeking revenge on mother-in-law.
Another Aspen Ovard thing I'm
which
not
we
privy
are.
to.
Maybe I need to look into this. And then Bonnie Holine's fake fight about Sherry's book.
I think there's
What's that?
some alleged weird things happening there. I'm pretty sure Sherry has unfollowed
That was like
all of them at this
the
point.
weird like uncut video of them like doing something in the living room. Right?
Was it those two that were fighting, or was
I
it
can't
Ellie and
remember.
Jared that were fighting?
I
One
can't
of
remember.
them
There was
posted
one
a
that
video
I-
of them fighting, and I was like, what are we doing?
What is going on?
We saved it just in case. So that one, I mean, lots of people, we had like submissions to put Sherry in here, and I just didn't feel good about putting Sherry in any of these categories. I feel like Sherry is not one who chose her online presence. That was chosen for her.
Yeah.
And yes, she's coming out with a book, and yes, we will do a video on it. I pre-ordered it. It'll allegedly be at my house this week. So
Probably the same day that we
will do a video about that. But yeah, I didn't feel okay putting her in here because I don't feel like she's in any of this of her own will and volition up to a certain point. I'm glad she's taking back the narrative, doing her own book, like putting things where she wants it. She's engaged now. Like, I'm happy for her, but I just felt weird about putting her in here.
Yeah. Especially if we're gonna do stuff on the book.
Yeah.
All right, next category. Best Mormon Show. This is our second to last award of the night.
Best Mormon Show.
We had 3 nominations for the year. One of them technically didn't come out this year, but we put it in there anyway because we love it.
Because we love it.
That would be Provo's Most
Provo's Most Eligible.
Which used to be known as The Bachelor of Provo, but Provo's Most Eligible definitely has a certain...
Has a ring to it. Get it?
ring to it. Anyway. Also, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
We say it so much,
Yeah.
it gets so jumbled.
Real history is The Secret Wives of Mormon Prophets in
Oh.
the past. But yes, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Definitely the most iconic that came out
Of
this year.
The year, yeah, definitely. And then Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which is still
Look at these
premiering
women. Look at
new
that.
episodes. My cousin front and center there.
Heather!
Gay.
Heather!
Distant cousin. But also Whitney. Whitney's also my distant cousin.
She deserves to be at the front.
And the winner of Best Mormon Show this year is...
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
By a lot.
68.7%.
by a lot. And I don't know, maybe it is a certain type of audience that likes Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
I really thought there would be more overlap with the two.
I thought there would, yeah.
And you guys can tell me in the comments if you have a theory about this. But I find it really interesting that there's like a lot of people that we know that watch Secret Lives, but not a lot of people who will watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, despite the fact that there is Mormonism woven pretty heavily through Real Housewives of Salt Lake City too.
Yeah, even though, I mean, like, you think of this season, really it's only Lisa anymore.
Yeah,
And
Lisa's really
Brittany.
the only one, and Brittany.
Brittany's the newcomer, but she's not technically, is she like a full-time cast member
No,
now?
she's a friend of the Housewives.
Okay, so
We'll see about next season.
she's definitely making it next.
I feel like
Jared Osmond.
She's annoying enough. I feel like she probably will.
Yeah.
But
she's a
Provo's Most
real
Eligible
B-tier.
even beat out Real Housewives, which was really surprising to me.
Shout out.
I thought there would
we
be more
know
of a
this
split here.
audience, baby.
We do. Well, a lot of you maybe who wouldn't have watched it without us watched Secret Lives with us when we did premieres. So maybe that's part
Provo's
of it.
Most Eligible. You
No.
said Secret Lives.
We watched that with them.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I'm like, we watched both of those things. I mean, that's what I wonder about that, is that we have more people who watched it with us. So maybe that's why.
That's true.
But I wanted to put Provo's Most Eligible in there because I know lots of you hold Bachelor and Provo close to your heart. And so I left the option in there because I wanted you to have it.
Yep. So hopefully there's a renaissance this year. We already have season 2 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Hopefully it will be this year. I would imagine. I don't know. It seems like they're kind of on the same schedule as
I would imagine
Real
spring,
Housewives, where they film in like the winter and then they put it out in.
They were
this
officially
fall or whatever.
renewed, so we will have another season for sure that we will watch together when that comes out.
We do our watch parties, so keep an eye out for that. And now on to our final one. I don't have a chart for this because it was all write-ins, so we'll just discuss some of the standouts. But our final category of the night is the Guilty Pleasure Award. Now, picking one of these is essentially next to impossible because everybody
has
an
different
opinion,
ones.
and having a standout would be really tough. So we'll just discuss.
We'll just
the
talk about
ones
that we saw the most.
That we saw the most, and by far the ones that we saw the most, like Best Mormon Show, were the ladies of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Mm-hmm. Brooklyn and Bailey, surprisingly.
A lot of Brooklyn and Bailey, and a lot of Ballerina Farm. Not as many for Ballerina Farm, but a lot of Brooklyn and Bailey, and the other ladies we were seeing a ton of, which makes sense. And it was kind of funny how people watched the show. We all kind of threw our weight behind these ladies, and then like the election happened and people were like, wait, they're Trumpies? Like, they live in Utah. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course.
I wouldn't be surprised if most of them were. Demi is an unapologetic, despite the fact that she won't say who she voted for.
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious.
But
and her husband too seems pretty obvious.
She seems the most obnoxious of all of them. I love her personality. Don't love that part of it. But again, it's not surprising. It's like anytime the danger of putting influencers on a pedestal, right?
Yep.
Is you only get part of the picture, and then you see like, oh, they're like homophobic, or oh, they're like transphobic, or like they have some really bad takes on moral things and human rights, and that's the danger of it, right? So that's not surprising. I feel like everybody has their guilty pleasure with these people, right? Like I had lots of people who wrote in here like, Hannah, but I only watch her cooking videos. I would say Nara would probably, like, if we were surveying the public, if that was an option with this, like the general public or people who are on TikTok, I feel like Nara would be top tier in terms of guilty pleasure because a lot of people know that she's Mormon and are willing to kind of discard that in a way that they might not for other people, which I find really interesting. She's kind of an anomaly of Mormon influencers. I feel like she's kind of in her own category almost.
I say Nara because of all the parodies that she spawns.
I don't watch her stuff. I have her blocked. But the parodies.
Oh my God.
Like Liam, I think is his name, who does them with the vacuum. And it just sends me. I can't. So lots of those. Surprisingly, a lot of Brandon Sanderson, which I was like pleasantly surprised about. There were some stragglers, like Sister Wives, lots of the Sister Wives. I'm assuming that you mean everybody but Robin. Some Dancing with the Stars. There's a lot of Dancing with the Stars cast or members. Dancers that are Mormon. Lisa Barlow. This is such a personal one. There was 359 responses, and this was such a personal one. There's no way to kind of really classify these other than the big ones that we just gave you. But it was fascinating to see because I feel like everybody just has kind of their, like, I know they're Mormon, but there are certain ways that I can look past it. And that I feel like everybody, like, obviously one of mine is Brandon. So I feel like everybody kind of has that. And this is not a black and white thing that we do here. It never has been. It's always very nuanced. And then there's just the structure of capitalism, which does not allow for ethical consumption anyway. And so I think that's a big part of this. But this was kind of a fascinating peek into a lot of people who they watch and somewhat feel guilty about, but are willing to do it anyway.
Well, and this was just kind of the tie-in of why we talk about these Mormon influencers, because we believe that everybody has the right to know what they're consuming. And a lot of people their livelihood is based on the money that they make off of social media and the influencing that they do, their brand deals, everything. And when it comes to Mormonism, 10% of the income of devout Mormons is being paid to the Mormon Church. And the Mormon Church does with it as they see fit,
That's
whether
the
that
rule.
be building new temples, building new church buildings.
Lobbying,
especially in the Utah legislature. I feel like they almost
lobbying
don't even
against
need to do anything.
civil rights causes like gay marriage.
Increasing their stock portfolio, buying up more land.
Their real estate portfolio,
Yeah,
$100 billion.
Shout out to the Widow's Mite Report if you want to have a fucking aneurysm at just where the Mormon finances stand. And this is evidence-based conjecture because they don't publish numbers because
of course not.
It's obscene.
It's obscene.
It's approaching dragon hoard of gold.
It's
probably past that, actually.
Could resolve world hunger and still have money left over.
Yeah. So we think it's important that people understand, where that money ends up and how it gets there and everything like that. Where it possibly ends up when you're consuming content from Mormon content creators. This is a very real possibility.
There's no way for us to know. The only thing that we have is the certainty that it is part of the rules that Mormons are questioned on by their church leadership often, like sometimes up to once a year. And so that's a question they have to ask, or once every 2, if they have to, like if they want to be able to temple worship, which is the full benefits of Mormonism, right? And so that leads us to believe that probably the average Mormon is tithing, but is there some who are going to be doing it differently? Yep. Sure. Are there some who maybe give their money to other places and bishops are okay with that? That's
Less
bishop
likely,
roulette. Some might be, some might not be. It's hard to know, but that's been our goal, I think, from the beginning, is just to empower you with more information. There will always be nuanced aspects of this, right? Like, I know a lot of people were not wanting to physically buy Sherry's book because of the fact that she still is allegedly Mormon. She's still attending BYU. She still reads very Mormon to me. But for me, like, I feel okay contributing some of that money to her, given everything that she's gone through, even if she's going to tithe on some of that money.
Yeah.
Like, you can't ever do any of this perfectly, but there are other people like Nara who I'm concerned about that money. That's a lot of money that's potentially being funneled to the church if they're paying tithing. And especially since his Lucky's Trumpy stuff came out recently. Like, there are people who, just for me, I'm going to be selective about how I do that. And that's not to say that that is the only moral way to do that. Like, maybe there are people, how we do it. That's just how we do it. And he's different than I am, and this is just how we operate. But, there's people who are going to borrow her book from the library.
Yeah.
Or they're going to wait until, somebody else they know buys it, and then they're going to read it from them, so she's not getting that money. And that's fine. Like,
Do you?
I respect that. There's lots of nuance to this, and people who don't know us come in here and I think assume that we do things in a very black and white way. And it might feel that way sometimes, but, like, this is way more nuanced than that.
Ultimately, it's most important that people have knowledge. Knowledge is power. And when we were Mormons, there was a lot of knowledge that was hidden from us regarding truth claims about the church, about the church's teachings and all of that. And it feels very wrong that that kind of bleeds into social media and everything, where people are kind of hiding their Mormonism from their brand because it looks bad and
they're not being entirely transparent.
So we want people to be empowered with knowledge so they can make a choice that's
just what we're doing. We just give you the information, then you get to choose what to do with that information, and we are not the moral authority on those things. You get to decide. So
obviously, if we're going to do a little hating, a little criticizing, a little commentary.
It's the internet.
So there's all kinds of stuff. If you're new here, there's your little rundown. If you're new here, I can't believe you made it this far in a topic that you have no information going in on. So that is pretty impressive. But in case you've been a long-time viewer, maybe haven't heard it in a while, I feel like we hit on the.
I feel like it's good to review.
It's good to review at the start of the year. And also, just to close the year out, 2024, a big thank you. If you weren't around, we hit our 100,000 subscriber milestone this year, which is like crazy. That's what everybody did. All of you did that. I mean, we're just sitting here in front of the camera. We're talking, and people like to hear it, but you are all sharing it. You are all interacting with it, helping push the message out, and we greatly appreciate it. So it's kind of fitting that we got to do a People's Choice award show.
And this is more of your incentive to go follow us on Instagram, because that's where I get a lot of your input, your ideas, and things that we end up incorporating into videos. And so if you don't follow us already, go follow us there.
Yep. And then obviously, if you aren't already subscribed, you're a regular watcher or listener or whatever, you can hit the subscribe button. And if you would like to support us further, you can become a member, become a patron. That goes to helping us do this, because we don't do it full time. Jordan has a full-time job and we have a 4-year-old. So I am constantly tied up during the waking hours, during the daylight hours. So it helps support us and helps us keep doing stuff like this and everything like that. So Shout out to all the members and the patrons. You get all kinds of exclusive extra stuff.
We just published
It's
our Utah
awesome.
vlog where we talked about some exciting things we
Yeah.
have coming up and what we did while we were in Utah.
We were actually, I keep talking about this influencer roundup. This actually became out of the influencer roundup because
Yeah.
we're like, we got to talk about all the stuff that happened last year of people that we talk about. And then we're like, let's do an awards show because that would be freaking awesome. And
To
then,
end out the year.
yeah.
So that video is coming.
Yeah.
It's just different.
There are actually some people in
They're going to be overlap.
here
Some
that
of
were kind of in passing mentioned in that one. So wait for that. We've got to
But
talk
we
about
wanted to
Sherry's
give
book and
you
everything.
some where you probably don't know. Like,
Yes.
especially like popular videos that you might see on TikTok
These
or
are-
Instagram
yeah.
that are just like funny and you're just like, haha. And then you don't think about it. You don't
Yeah.
follow them until you see them again. And you're
Yeah,
like, oh,
these
that's funny.
ones
And
I've
they're
been
Mormon.
curating. Like, they will come up in the comments section like once in a blue moon, and it's like one person.
Yep.
So I feel like these ones are kind of like
These are kind of tricky, like ones you might not see.
smackdown ones. So stay tuned for that. I swear to God, it'll be
It's
worth
coming.
it. Swear to God. And then also, Jordan talked about Instagram. You can follow us on TikTok as well. Links in the description down below. And then our awesome Discord community. You can find the link and invite for that down in the description down below. That one's really good to familiarize yourself with if you want to join us for watch parties, because we do it over there. That's for the patrons. You can
Watch party schedule for January is incoming.
Yes, we'll be watching extra stuff. We were supposed to do something for
New Year's,
New
but our
Year's
kid had
Eve.
croup.
Yeah, we were
so
gonna watch Napoleon. We got to reschedule Napoleon, obviously.
We'll watch Napoleon.
But yeah,
Dynamite.
the croup was hitting hard, and we were too
We were too exhausted.
exhausted to do anything. But
rough.
anyway, we love you. You're awesome. We hope you had a great 2024, and we're looking forward to an amazing 2025 with all of you. We have a lot of awesome, fun, cool, exciting stuff coming. So we will see you there.